Might have jinxed us.
Yeah, we need Kim, Michael, and Greg.
Hey.
We want to make you sweat.
One, two. Yeah, I see we're on air. We're just waiting to get a quorum with one more member. We'll start the meeting. Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. We're going to get started with the meeting. Good morning, everyone. It's November 8th, 2023. Welcome to the DAC meeting. May I get a call to order, roll call, please?
Good morning. Nick Mielich,
Present.
Brian Chagas,
Present.
Michael Cuevas,
Present.
Kim Doe,
Present.
Samuel Grace.
Present.
May the record reflect Roger Jansen, Stephen Graham, and Brad McPherson are not present today.
Okay, moving on. We're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next is approval of minutes from October 11th, 2023. Does anyone have any comments on the approval of minutes from last month? Nope. Seeing none, we'll move on to report from the city urban designer.
I think you need to make a motion for the minutes.
Sorry. Oh, the motion. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you. Need to get a motion for approval of the minutes. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Approval of minutes. Thank you, Claudia.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Claudia Babin, City Urban Designer. I would like to just acknowledge and welcome Samuel Grace here, who is now the appointed as a second alternative member to the city commission, to the city's downtown action committee. So thank you, Samuel,
Thank you.
for being here with us and committing to having a better West Palm Beach.
Excited to be a part of it.
Welcome.
That's it.
Okay, thank you, Claudia. Next, we're going to move to remarks by the chairperson. I have none. Next is declaration of ex parte communication. Does anyone have any ex parte communication to declare on this case today? No? No? Okay, seeing none, we're going to open up the public hearing. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to speak on the case today? Seeing none, we will move on to continued cases. I don't think there's any continued cases, so we'll move on to new cases. TDR case number 23-08.
Mr. Chair, I have to recuse myself from TDR case number 2308. I have a contractual obligation to the persons who are involved with this.
So noted, thank you.
I'll
And
also need
actually,
to,
can I just interrupt? I don't know if you said your name for the record that you're recusing.
Brian Chekas?
Thank you. Go ahead.
and then I, Sam Grace, will also need to recuse myself from TDR case number 2308 as part of the NORA development team.
Okay, thank you.
So because of that, we do need 4 members to vote on this case. I'm not sure if we want to wait to see if Gabriel will join us.
Yeah, I was just going to suggest, I don't know if we could, I know there's no real other items to rearrange, but if we could talk about any unfinished business or new business in the meantime, hopefully Gregory will be here shortly, and then we can have a quorum to vote.
Did we lose a DAC member? Is that why we have a new alternate?
No, just today, Roger and Brad and Steven are not here.
So he's filling in as second alternate.
Yes, so now we will have everyone filled in the.
Okay, so we didn't have a second alternate then.
We did not.
Okay.
That's correct,
thought we
yes.
did.
Okay, sounds like we got an open jam here a little bit to discuss any kind of item that we want to kill a little time. Anybody have any items to discuss or things to get off their chest? Anything like that?
I have
Mr.
one
Green.
question since Jeff is coming up to the.
I'm not Jeff.
Rick, I'm sorry, Rick is coming up. The clematis closure for the Roxy's was initially supposed to be 1 month. Is that correct? But
No, it was 90 days.
Oh, 90
It
days.
expired November 2nd. The crane has been moved. We're still not sure if they're 100% complete, but with all the holiday festivities coming, they had a deadline of November 2nd to remove the crane, which they've done.
Oh, okay.
So
So
they're
that's
still working on the construction. Again, they're installing a pool on the third deck. I guess one thing I could mention, while we're trying to kill some time, as the board is aware that our downtown development is governed by a transportation concurrency exception area, which allows us to build just under 15.1 million square feet of non-residential, provided we build 6,934 residential units. So there had to be a ratio of residential to non-residential. The good news is that with what has been constructed downtown and what is under construction, we will have in excess of 9,000 residential units, which is a good thing. The premise being that you've got more people living and working downtown. So we've exceeded the 6,900 minimum that we needed. There's no cap on residential. So in order to achieve the 15.1 million square feet of non-residential, we have met the obligation for the residential side. We had, as of March of last year, approximately 10.3 million square feet of non-residential constructed. So we're concerned because with everything that we have under construction, with everything we have now, when it's completed, we'll be at about 11.8 million. So we're approaching that 15.1 million square foot number. So we are embarking on a mobility study as well as a traffic analysis because, again, those thresholds were set back in 1997. A lot has happened since then. We never envisioned we'd have a bright line train running through our downtown. The circuit system we have now that allows people to move from one point to the other. Certainly the fact that we've made the downtown a more pedestrian-friendly environment all works in favor of that analysis. So our staff has done a parcel-by-parcel analysis through the property appraiser data. And then when we subtotaled everything, it came out very close to our TCA numbers. So just letting you know that we're going to continue to work on the mobility study and the traffic study to see what that development will have, and then look and see whether we can increase that 15 million ceiling on non-residential, because that's something that's very important to us.
So in the pipeline, we have approved, did you say a little over, almost 12 million?
We have 11.8 with everything that's under construction today.
Okay.
With what we have in the pipeline, now I preface that by saying not all of that will get built, but based solely on approvals, we're going to total about 14.6 million square feet. So again, very close to the 15.1. A lot of that includes, again, developments that probably are not going to get built that have been entitled for some time, but nonetheless, we have to account for that. I will also say that we continue to work with Related on their redevelopment of the square, formerly City Place. As you may have noticed, they are demolishing what we call the Movie Co. and Brio block, which will facilitate the construction of their east and west towers. So that will take some time, but they're going through the review process. Because that was approved through a DRI, that'll go to the planning board probably in December for the approval of the two towers. And then, of course, you all approved, well, the 1515 was approved a while back, 1515 Fern. That's on hold right now, and there's still plans to develop the Cheesecake Block. And then again, the old Macy's is moving towards completion of that residential tower. So a lot happening in there. But we meet with Related every other week. We meet with them again tomorrow and talk about everything they have on their plate. So there's quite a bit going on.
So if we exceed the 15 million or 15.1, it doesn't mean that commercial development stops. It just means that every project would have to go through a transportation study to get approved at that point.
Means that development stops.
Oh, it just stops for commercial.
Yes. So
Okay.
that's why we want to initiate the study and look at our traffic today compared to the presumptions and the assumptions that were made back in 1997.
Wow, okay. I read also that the tent site project got FAA approval. Does that mean that they are continuing to move forward with pulling a permit?
They are. They have permits into us now, so those are under review. So we suspect that that's going to move forward, yes.
Okay.
Would you mind just giving a brief overview of affordable housing in the context of all this growth and what the city's doing for incentives or programs or that,
Okay.
that like?
Yeah, and Dodie's here, so I'll ask her if there's anything I missed. But, so as you may remember, the Live Local Act was approved last year. That went into effect July 1st. Prior to that, we had approved Resolution 306-22. 306-22 allowed us to basically double the density that was permitted. So if you were in a multifamily 32 zoning district that allowed 32 units per acre, you could build upwards of 64 units. The Live Local, because we did not trigger the threshold for commercial industrial, there's a percentage, I believe 20%, that you had to have across the city. We didn't reach that threshold primarily because of the 20 square mile water catchment area. I think we're at 8% commercial and industrial zoning. The Live Local Act only applies to mixed-use districts. So it wasn't really an incentive for us. Prior to the Live Local Act going into effect on July 1, we had a meeting to receive input from developers, and we had 70 or 80 people showed up. And as part of that discussion, we had indicated that if you submit prior to July 1st, you could submit under the old resolution that we had approved, 306-22, or you could wait and utilize the Live Local Act. So we actually had 6 projects come in under 306-22 because it provided more of an incentive for workforce housing. So some of those applications we are processing now, and they'll go through that process. When the Live Local Act went into effect on July 1, it in essence sunset the resolution 306-22, but as part of the comprehensive plan amendment that you saw with the evaluation and appraisal report, we want to go back to what we had before and give developers the option of, again, either pursuing the Live Local Act or new legislation which would mirror what we've done before. So that's in the process, and we expect that probably in the springtime we'll have that adopted and we'll have that in place. On a separate note, in the downtown, as you may know, a couple years ago, if you remember, in August of 2021, I believe we adopted incentives for downtown developments that, again, if they can increase their FAR in height, and that additional increase, 20% of that has to be set aside for workforce housing. So that's something that still is of interest to developers. And the developer in the audience, we spent some time, discussing that with him. So again, that incentive is still in place. Dodie, is there anything I missed? Or?
Just one quick add, is that after we do the adoption of the comp plan amendments, just a reminder, we'll adopt code amendments for the housing so that we can get that into where we thought we were going to be this time last year into our code itself. And we expect that we'll have, come the first of the year, some more input meetings with developers and with the community, and then we'll come back with language that we'll review with them and then bring that forward, which likely adoption may be April or May of next year. So.
Great, thank you. Okay, let the record show that Gregory is now here, and so we have a quorum. Welcome, Gregory.
Thank you, thank you.
Just point of order, could we go through ex parte and/or conflicts with this board member?
Sure will. Do you have any ex parte communication to declare?
No, I have nothing to declare. I had no communication with anyone.
Thank you. Okay, now we're going to go back to the agenda and the case. Case number 23-03, a request by Andrea Holloway of the Law Office of Paul A. Krasker, PA, on behalf of West Palm Beach Fern Holdings, LLC, for the DAC approval of the transfer of 185,043 square feet of TDRs from properties located at 464 and 418 Fern Street and the west portion of 401 South Dixie Highway to a bank for holding created by the Nora District. Once the final selection of the receiving site has been determined, then DAC approval for the transfer shall be required. The banking of TDRs is permitted pursuant to the City of West Palm Beach Zoning and Land Development Regulations, Article 4, Section 94-132. Oh, we have to do a swearing in again?
Yes.
Okay, yep. So the public hearing's still open, so all those in attendance that wish to speak, I think the attorney needs to say something for this, or not? I think they typically say, do you affirm or swear?
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry, JT, my apologies.
Those in the crowd, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Thank you. Claudia?
Okay, terrific. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm not Andrea Holloway. I'm Ellie Halpern of counsel to Paul Krasker's office representing the applicant. I'll make this as quick as I can because you summarized everything very well with the overview. This is a transfer of development rights, a request for the transfer of 185,043 and the properties that have been acquired by the developer to transfer them to the Nora District. The development program allows certain TDRs that have been in ascending district to be into a receiving district. And a couple of years ago, the Nora District was created and is an appropriate receiving district and can also bank these TDRs until they are needed. This is the location of the property that was acquired that was a receiving district and now has become a sending district, which is really a win-win. This is certainly the definition of a win-win for the city. The developer was going to develop a high-rise project here, and through changing times, it's more efficient to develop something a little smaller, and they have no need of all the TDRs that they've acquired. Fortunately, the Nora District was created in the interim, and it's a good place to bank them so they can be used for development in an area that wants to encourage further development. So what was planned was this higher-rise building, and now a mid-height building will be built in the area instead. The request is that these TDRs be transferred to the bank for the Nora District to be utilized as needed later. If you have any questions, I have the developer here with us. If not, we would respectfully request that you approve the transfer.
Thank you. Okay, I think we're still open for public hearing. I don't see anyone, but I'll just say if anyone in the public wishes to speak. Seeing none, we'll close that and turn it over to the board for any comments.
I have a question, please.
Yes,
So what was the timing between the receiving and the sending, and also the pricing? Is there a pricing difference, and how long was the timing in between?
Hi, Hunter Monsoor with Wexford Real Estate Investors, part of the development team. So we've acquired these TDRs over the span of the last 2 years since we acquired the site back in 2021. Over that time, the pricing of these TDRs has ranged between $15 a foot to $17 a foot, which we are now selling to Nora. So there is no price markup in our mind. We're selling them at market value to Nora. we certainly don't want to be those people that hold the city or hold another developer over the barrel. So that is the pricing. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, with that, I think I'll request a motion. Oh, sorry, Claudia.
I just want to note a couple of things. I do want to make a correction on the staff report. The correct recipient is Nora East 1011 Owner LLC, and not what is in the staff report. So that's one thing. And I also do have a motion here too because of that change too. But yes, this is a pretty simple case. They are not utilizing the TDRs that they acquire, and now they're transferring into Nora. And once Nora decides what property and what kind of development they want to use them for, they will come for site plan approval and the transfer of those TDRs.
Great.
So we do recommend approval based on the findings that the transfer of development rights case number 2308, a transfer of 185,043 square feet from these properties that we have right here, there's a bunch of them, to the Nora East 1011 Owner LLC. Meets all the standards as prescribed by Article 4 Downtown Master Development Regulations, Section 941332, Transfer of Development Rights Program of the Zoning and Land Development Regulations. And here's the motion.
Thank you.
I make a motion to approve.
Do I hear
Move the Downtown Action Committee approve the transfer of development rights DAC case number TDR 23-08 as listed in the staff report dated November 8th, 2023 as follows. The transfer of 185,043 square feet of TDRs from 464 and 418 Fern Street, 435 and 419 Gardenia Street, 415, 417, and 421 South Dixie Highway, and the west portion of 401 South Dixie Highway to Northeast 10-11 Owner LLC, pursuant to the requirements of Section 94-132.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations. You're welcome. Okay, I don't think we have any code revision cases or administrative appeals, nor do we have any unfinished business or new business or other business. Unless the board has any other further comments or questions,
I do have a question.
go ahead.
When a site receives TDRs and sell it again, is there a restriction around if they can buy TDR again from the same site, or there's no restriction? If condition of market change, they could go back and buy TDR to make their building higher.
Let me see if I understood the question. You are saying that, for example, this property that acquires that sells out some TDRs, can they buy them back?
Yes, if condition of the market change, they want to buy again.
If it is, if that property is qualified as a receiving site, yes.
Okay.
There are only certain properties within downtown that are qualified as receiving sites.
Okay, thank you.
Great. I think with that,
Just one point of order to make sure that the two board members who recused themselves make their recusal form filled out and submitted to Julius to be included in the minutes.
So the our newest alternate, Mr. Grace, he did not fill one out, but he'll get that to me here shortly. We worked it out prior to, he let me know, so we'll get that squared away.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
No problem.
thank you. And with that, I'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everyone.